What's up, gamers? I hope you guys are all having a great day today, just full of so much positivity and happiness, dude. Well, at least hopefully more positive than Sony and Naughty Dog's day is going so far.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
You know, I think it's probably the understatement of the century to say that The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is a complete and total dumpster fire. I mean, this is one of the worst ports I think I've ever seen in the history of the video game industry. Like, this is giving Cyberpunk 2077's PlayStation version and Arkham Knight's PC port a run for its money, man. This is absolutely insane. I would have never expected a port of a 10-year-old PS3 game to go this piss poorly, man. This is absolutely insane, man, especially coming off the success of HBO's Last of Us series. Like, you would have thought Sony would have made sure this thing was perfect to bring as many new people into the franchise as possible coming off of the hype of the HBO series, but I think this did the complete and total opposite of that, and I think that's putting it lightly, man. If anything, people are going to be turned away from potentially buying a lot of new Sony games at launch on PC out of fear of a similar situation happening, because this entire port should have been just an easy way for Sony to capitalize on the popularity of The Last of Us right now, given that HBO series, but it turned out to be one of the biggest nightmares and complete and total failures in modern gaming history, and it's absolutely impressive the lengths that this game just absolutely fucking failed upon release. Now, you know, I think there's something really interesting here going on, and I want to go ahead and start this video off with this, because this is something that's extremely sus to me, bro, and I've never seen a situation like this before, especially surrounding a game as high profile as The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. Now, typically, whenever Sony releases one of these port games onto PC, all the major media outlets cover this like stink on shit, bro. It's a very easy way to get some easy views by reviewing the PC version. You know, people are interested how it runs, how it performs coming from console to PC. It's a very low effort thing because in most cases, the people reviewing it have already played the game on the console, and therefore they don't really have to spend much time on it. It's a very easy way to capitalize on a popular topic. But if you look at The Last of Us Part 1's PC Metacritic page, this is where it gets very interesting. Look at the user score and the actual Metascore. 1.9 and 56. Now, I want you to pay attention underneath that 56 because this is where it gets really, really interesting. There are only 6 published reviews for The Last of Us Part 1's PC port. Now, at first, you may be like, well, maybe people already reviewed it on PlayStation. This isn't really that big of a deal. Well, if we look at Spider-Man's PC port, look how many reviews that got. Isn't that crazy? 65 reviews for the PC version's remastered port. So isn't that interesting? So why the hell is the mainstream media not covering the PC port of The Last of Us Part 1? I think it really speaks volumes. Like, look at the reviewers that are actually reviewing this game, man. I mean, these are no-name sites. You have GameStar, Multiplayer.it, Worth Playing, Gameblog.fr, Game Reactor UK, and We Got This Covered. And no shade thrown in their direction. At least they're actually talking about how dog shit this port is. I think it really speaks volume that the biggest name out there in the gaming community that has actually reviewed this game is none other than motherfucking Dreamcast guy himself, dude.
Do not buy The Last of Us Part 1 remake on PC or Steam Deck because it's actually completely broken. Even if you play this game on low settings, it's completely crashing, it has terrible optimization, and in general, it doesn't quite look right, but let's talk about that. What's up, gamers? Dreamcast guy here.
And I'm not gonna lie, man, the homie Dreamcast guy actually did a very good job reviewing this game. I mean, of course, there is the occasional Dreamcast guy moment.
So I decided, alright, maybe this is just a PC problem, let me go hard on Steam Deck. I mean, I'll admit this, I predominantly bought this to play it on the Steam Deck. I've been completely obsessed with my Steam Deck, like a lot of people who have this thing, and I was kind of curious because this does feel sort of like a PlayStation Portable or a PlayStation Vita. It does really seem like Sony is dead set on trying to make this thing like the PlayStation Vita 2, you know, a new way to get their games out there and portable. Even on handheld, it doesn't feel quite right.
Like, bro, the PC and the Steam Deck are literally the same platform, but you know what? That's beside the point, okay? Give our boy Dreamcast guy a little bit credit. He is the only motherfucker out here actually shitting on this game the way it should be, and you know, props to him for that. But every other mainstream media outlet is fucking radio silent when it comes to this game. Now, personally, let me go ahead and just say, I am not one of these people that believes in like overall gaming conspiracy theories and like anti-Microsoft agendas or anything like that. I don't think this has to do anything with Xbox per se or PlayStation versus Xbox. I think this has more of a political meaning behind it. And, you know, let me put my synthetic man hat on for a second here. And I think this has a lot to do with the fact that Naughty Dog and games journalists have like a symbiotic relationship where they both push the current thing. You know, they align very much so ideologically when it comes to politics in the video game industry and representation in gaming, you name it. Like, Neil Cuckman and games journalists have a lot in common when it comes to their political ideologies. So what I think is occurring here could be a combination of them trying not to fuck up their relationship with Sony and not wanting to give this game a low review until Sony has the opportunity to fix it, or they're taking one for the team and skipping out on the potential revenue this time around because they don't want to be the ones to shit on a game that is made by a studio that's very friendly to their political kind of messaging. And I think that has more to do with it. It's like going up against the home team. You know, they don't want to play against each other. They want to prop each other up. And I think they're giving Naughty Dog this grace period to try and correct this game before they start publishing reviews. Because I want you guys to mark my words here. I think if there's a major patch for this game, all of a sudden the reviews will start flowing like water, but not before that. I think it's very intentional that, 4 to 5 days after the release date of this game, we still haven't gotten an IGN review when this game literally takes one sitting to beat, realistically, especially if you already know what you're doing and you've already played it in the past. The only thing you'd really be looking for is to make sure the game actually functions properly, which ding ding ding, it fucking doesn't. The game runs like absolute horseshit. So I think there's definitely a cover-up in effect here. I don't think you can look at this any other way. You know, I hate to put the conspiracy theory kind of hat on here because it's like, I'm not really one that likes to play into this whole media bias narrative, but I think what we're observing here is a very clear and present media bias, and they're definitely playing favorites when it comes to Sony, because any other developer or publisher that put out a game this fucking bad would be absolutely spit roasted in the media by now, and the review scores would reflect that. And the fact that we haven't even gotten reviews from major outlets like IGN or GameSpot or Kotaku, Polygon, I think that really speaks volumes as to what's going on here, and it's not really hard to see what games journalists are doing. And whether it's politically motivated or they just don't want to get on Sony's bad side, you can kind of interpret it as you will. I think they're definitely kind of leaning more towards the political, ideological aspects of it because Neil Cuckman is an ally, quote unquote, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I don't think you can look at this as anything other than blatant media favoritism and them trying to cover up just how fucking bad this game really is. Because, you know, they may talk about how bad the game is in like a podcast or whatever, but they won't actually reflect that in a review score that they're willing to publish, which I think tells you all you really need to know at this point. But moving on from that, you know, tinfoil hat off, guys, I do think something really is going on there. We did get an apology from Naughty Dog today, which is really interesting. They published it at the end of Friday, close of business, their time in California, and I don't really think that's a coincidence either, but let's go ahead and read what this apology had to say. The Last of Us Part 1 PC players, we know some of you have not experienced the Naughty Dog quality you expected. Our team is working hard to resolve issues currently preventing some of you from experiencing the game to ensure it reaches the quality level you expect and deserve. And well, this first tweet is absolutely incredible, and I think our boy Dreamcast guy put it absolutely perfectly, man.
Not off to a good start there, Naughty Dog. Look at that. We know that some of you have not experienced This almost feels like gaslighting right out of the gate, trying to act like, some people are having a good time. Maybe you're having a bad time.
The nerve of Naughty Dog to come out here and act like these aren't widespread issues plaguing the game is actually fucking hilarious, bro. Like, the fact they're really trying to pass this off as it's not like a big fucking deal or anything is just incredible, dude. Like, this really just shows you they did not want to make this statement. They're like, fuck it, man, we got to put something out before we go home for the weekend because, these bitches won't shut the fuck up about it. I mean, this is absolutely insane, man. They need to pull this game from Steam. Like, that's how bad this shit is. Sony pulled Cyberpunk from the PlayStation Store for less, in my opinion, and Naughty Dog is still trying to sell this shit on Steam, man. It's absolutely crazy. But let's go ahead and keep reading. A hotfix addressing jittering on mouse, controlled camera movement, some crashes, and more for The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is slated for Tuesday. A larger patch with additional fixes will be deployed later in the week. We also encourage players to ensure you're using the latest NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel graphics drivers. Our team and our dedicated partners at Iron Galaxy will continue to investigate and address known issues to deliver the great The Last of Us Part 1 experience you expect. And again, man, I think our boy Dreamcast guy put it absolutely perfectly here.
Again, with the gaslighting. You think that we don't know how to update drivers. You think people that are actually buying PC games don't see a little cog in the corner that says update your drivers? Now, I want to make an additional point. When you boot this game up, if you don't have the most current drivers, it actually tells you to install them. It says which install to do. So I had that when I first started to boot it up back on Tuesday when the train wreck began. It did properly alert me and said, hey, update your stuff. And I did, and it still runs bad. Is that somehow telling me it could possibly run worse? Because I can't imagine it.
Dude, just the amount of condescending undertones in this tweet is absolutely fucking incredible. Like, it really just shows you what these motherfuckers actually think about their consumers and shit. Like, I mean, I already know that Neil Cuckman is just a stuck-up fucking douche, but like, holy fuck, man, you all are single-handedly responsible for one of the biggest bag fumbles in all of gaming history, and you're gonna tell people to update their fucking graphic drivers like that's actually gonna fix the issue. You released one of the buggiest broken PC ports in the history of the platform, and you really think an NVIDIA driver update's actually gonna make an actual difference in any of this shit? Like, this is incredible, man. I mean, only the fucking condescending bullshitters over at Sony and Naughty Dog could come up with a response like this, dude. This is the biggest non-apology I think I've seen in quite some time. It almost would have been better if they would have said nothing. Like, honestly, if they would have just shut the fuck up, kept their heads down, and actually just released the fixes, I think that would have been better, because holy shit, this apology is absolutely awful. I don't know, man. This is how stupid they really think you are at the end of the day. They think they can play this off like it's only affecting some people, like you're not part of the norm, and most people have no problems whatsoever, and you're part of the minority of people having issues because you didn't update your graphics driver. Like, holy fuck, dude. It would have been so much better if they would have just said, yeah, we know the game is an absolute mess. We're working to fix this as soon as possible. Please stand by for updates. We're working around the clock to make this right. We sincerely apologize. That's how you apologize, motherfuckers. You don't downplay it and act like you're not at fault or that other people are the problem because they didn't upgrade NVIDIA graphics drivers, which, as any PC gamer would know, if you actually did that, which most people do regularly anyway, this shit doesn't fucking fix it, man. The issues are still there. It doesn't matter. This game is an absolute dumpster fire with jet fuel being dumped on it by the fucking gallon, bro. This is absolutely insane, and the nerve of Naughty Dog to come out and put out this statement like they did is insanity to me, dude. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you have people like this, which this is the prime example of maybe why Naughty Dog developers do think people are so stupid at the end of the day, because you got motherfuckers like DSP coming out and saying some of the dumbest shit in human history regarding the Last of Us PC port.
And I definitely hate to say it, but if you're a PC gamer, I feel bad. You might have to start buying consoles, man. It seems like that's the better way to go. If you want to play these games on day one and have a consistently good experience, it seems like console is the way to go. These PC versions are so flaky. And it's not your fault. You deserve to get the consistent version, and they're not. They're just not. If these game companies are not going to do what's right, are you going to keep giving yourself an inferior game experience? Are you going to have to wait 6 months every time a new game comes out? Are you going to then just to get a shit port? I don't know. I wouldn't do that. As a content creator, as someone who wants to play the new games when they're new and when they're exciting and when they're attractive to a viewing audience and to myself, I want to play it right away. I'm glad that I have all the consoles because it gives me that flexibility. I feel like if I just had a gaming PC that was top of the line, I'd actually be hurting myself, shooting myself in the foot.
And if you think Sony doesn't pay attention to people like DSP, then I would like to direct your attention to this wonderful clip.
Quick example. I want you to watch what the player does here as he boats around.
The taste of vanilla magic led him to new forms of experimentation.
We're back.
New levels of depravity.
Look where we are, we're back.
Okay, so in this example, the player is exploring the hub. They've been correctly taught the shock arrow mechanic. And thanks to the design work done by Kai Zheng, they've also been told that shock arrows mean interesting themes and that there's a lot of different variety and a lot of different gameplay, right? So we've made a convincing promise to the player. So watch it one more time, and I want you to watch just what the camera behavior does.
The taste of vanilla magic led him to new forms of experimentation.
We're back.
New levels of depravity.
Look where we are, we're back.
Boom, and there it is. He saw a shock crystal, right? He has been taught correctly. He has been promised interesting gameplay. And because he is returning to the hub, he is thinking, oh, I feel like doing one of those. I know how those work. I'm in the mood for one of those. Or he can just explore it on his own. That is the benefit.
And there you can see that Santa Monica is literally admitting that they develop video games with people like DSP in mind, man. So that shows you the intelligence level that they associate with the people that buy and play their video games. It's not a very high standard of opinion in my personal opinion, but this is absolutely wild, bro. I mean, hopefully they can fix it. I mean, it just seems like it's a complete and total nightmare. They may have to overhaul this entire thing and redo it, but I just think it's interesting they went with Iron Galaxy, which is notoriously known for making bad ports. So everything around this is really weird in my opinion, and especially considering the fact that they have all this interest in The Last of Us coming out of the HBO series. You would have thought they would have done a better job with this game when porting it to PC and introducing it to a brand new audience, but I don't know, man. Shit is absolutely crazy. But let me know your thoughts on this whole Last of Us PC port situation in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like on it. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I do want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to check out this video and for all the recent support as well. You guys are the fucking best, and I really do appreciate it. So with that shit said, I will catch you guys next time.